Elden Ring is so close you can almost taste the despair in the air. And this week we got even more information about the playable classes that will be available when the game launches on February 25th. We now know that Elden Ring will launch with 10 playable classes, and in the latest class teaser from the official Elden Ring Twitter, we got a deep dive on the Confessor and the Samurai. The Confessor is described as a church spy, adept at covert operations, and equally skilled with a blade and faith-based incarnations. The Samurai is just what it sounds like, a fighter, handy with katanas and longbows, hailing from the mysterious land of reeds, which honestly sounds a lot cozier than the lands between. Like the recently revealed Bandit and Astrologer, the Samurai was quietly showcased in some other Elden Ring gameplay trailers, but the classes were never explicitly announced. With this update, we have the final names of 8 of Elden Ring's 10 classes, some of which have been updated since the Games Network test. But which class will be best? Which class would we recommend to Souls newbies? And which class is likely to dominate the PvP meta? To answer all those questions and more, I'm joined by GamesRadar's features writer, Joe Donnelly. So, hi Joe, first thing I want to know is which class are you going to be taking on first in Elden Ring?
I haven't quite decided yet. It's cool to see them all unfold as we go. Dark Souls classes have always been pretty routine. If you look back to From Software's back catalogue, Pyromancy class, for example, specialises in Pyromancy. Sorcerers specialise in Sorcery. Magic Warriors are strong. You know the drill. But with the Elden Ring, there's so much more going on. You can jump, for example. There's a lot more stealth. So I expect that to be reflected in the classes themselves. I tend to go for something kind of down the middle. Something which is, adept in melee, but also a little bit of magic in there as well. The Samurai class looks pretty good. He's handy with a katana, but also got longbows. I like that mix of being able to go up close and personal, but also having that raised as well. So I've not committed yet because I'm so excited. I've not been reading too much about the specifics. I played the closed network test last year, but I'm excited all the same. And I'll probably start one. I'll fail at some boss at some point. I want to start the save all again. So yeah, I'm excited to have a little bit of variety in there.
I love that. And I think then for a lot of people, this is potentially going to be their first Souls game. So I'm wondering, based on the information we have so far, do you have an idea of which class maybe first timers should be jumping in as?
Yeah, I think something which allows for a little bit of kind of mixed combat as well. When I first started with Dark Souls games, having somebody that was adept enough in ranged combat, because if you're unsure of From Software games, I'm sure that you know that they're pretty difficult. So you will do a lot on the back foot. So something which allows you to attack whilst you're retreating, I think would be a good shout for newcomers. So again, if you look at the Samurai, someone who's good with longbows and also with katana. If you look at purely magic and the Astrologer, you might not be too good in close quarters melee, but you're able to sustain an attack if you're on the back foot and on the retreat. Something which allows for a cautious approach. But like all of these games, I kind of touched upon this in my first answer. I think being able to adapt in the moment is going to be really important. And I think the Elden Ring, because of so much more going on, because you can jump, because there's going to be stealth, you can circumvent enemies altogether. I think being adaptable in how you go, and I think there'll be more fluidity in the classes themselves. Even if you start out, focused on magic or range, being able to adjust and maybe level up in strength and dexterity will be important as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think you mentioned it in there, from everything we've seen of this game so far, there is a lot more variety maybe than previous Souls games, right? A lot of focus on magic and summoning and the way the ghosts are going to work. How do you think that's going to play into the PvP side of Elden Ring? And is that something you're excited for?
I'm excited for it. I always try PvP in From Software games. I always get my rusted helm handed back to me very quickly at the start. I think that PvP is always best in close quarters. It's always best when it's right in your face, when it's backs to the wall. It's quite terrifying, is probably a good way to describe it. So I think something a little bit more hands-on in your classes as well. So the Vagabond, which I understand was based off of the network test Bloody Wolf. So obviously there's still a little bit of iteration in the classes as we kind of head towards release from what we've already seen. A solid set of armour, good range, and a kind of really good melee stats as well. But I think players will always find, they'll always find their feet. Again, speaking of that adaptability, you'll find out what's working for you. You'll find out in the moment when you're playing someone else, not unlike the AI NPCs. who are attacking with kind of similar behaviour patterns. No one can be trusted. You might be drawn against someone who doesn't look like they can handle a fight. They might lull you into a false sense of security, and then in the final leg of the battle, just absolutely hammer you. So something which can be strong in an opponent's face, but expect the unexpected and never underestimate anyone would be my advice on that front.
Well, there we have it. Let me know down in the comments below which class you're likely to be trying out first in Elden Ring. It's so close now, I can't wait. And finally, remember to subscribe to GamesRadar here on YouTube so you don't miss any of our future game reviews, news, or guides.
Someone must extinguish thy flame.